Hi there, I'm Zara. So this is our third video looking at the Black Butler characters and seeing how historically accurate their names are. Please go to the first video if you haven't watched it, or the second video if you haven't watched that. There is a playlist on my channel, so you can start from there and slowly work your way down. We're currently at character number 25 out of 81 that I'm looking at. I'm just a reminder, I'm not looking at all of the characters because a lot of them are from different countries, or you don't know when they've been born, so you can't look at them from a Victorian perspective. So I'm just looking at the ones that I know are from England and that I know were born in the Victorian period. Okay, so character number 25, Derek Arden. He was a fifth-year student at Weston College and son of Queen Victoria's cousin, Duke Clemens. He is murdered by Herman Greenfield after it is revealed that Derek cheated his way through his first 4 years of school. His last name, Arden, is an occupational surname derived from 3 places called Arden in the United Kingdom. These are located in North Riding of Yorkshire, Cheshire and Warwickshire. The name Derek is not in the list of Victorian popular names. The name means people and ruler. It was most popular in the 1950s. A similar name to this, which was used in the Victorian period, is Frederick, which means ruler and power. Number 26 is Doctor. His real name is Gary Schools. He is a doctor at the circus and pretends he can't walk by being in a wheelchair. He creates prosthetic limbs for all the circus members that have missing limbs. The name Gary is most popular in the 1950s and was not used in the Victorian period. Interestingly, the name is actually becoming extinct at the moment because it's being used less and less, and children are less and less of having that name. His parents are Ralph and Teresa Scholes. The name Ralph is relatively popular in the Victorian period, remaining relatively close to 50 over the 50 years. The name Teresa is less popular but still in the list. The surname Scholes is used more regularly in northern England. There are several places in South Yorkshire with the name, and the surname in Middle English meant shed or hut. Number 27 is Dolly. She is part of the circus arc and is a tightrope walker that specialises in aerial ballet. She is seen as the princess of the circus, and as a result she is very naive about what the heck is going on behind the scenes. When not working, she disguises herself as Freckles and shares a room with the other CL. Both names, Freckles and Dolly, are not used in Victorian times, obviously. Number 28 is Edgar Redmond. He is a former student of the Weston College and was the head of the Red House when a student there. He first appears in volume 14 of the manga. Edgar's name is a popular Victorian name. His surname Redmond derives from the personal name Raymond and is a Norman surname. Edward Aberline, he is a twin brother of Frederick Aberline, although this is only in the anime. Edward is never shown in the manga, only his brother, so he might not actually exist in the manga. In the anime, his brother Frederick dies in season 1, and Edward appears in season 2 to fill that void. He is considerably more irrational and careless in comparison to his brother's serious and sober demeanour. The name Edward is in the top 20 of Victorian names throughout the 50 years that we have of records. Character number 30, Edward Midford. He is a knight and a prefect of the greenhouse at Weston College. He is also the cousin of the 2 CLs and the older brother of Elizabeth. He's first shown in volume 11 of the manga. As with the previous Edward, it is a very popular name in the 1800s. Edward V. He was meant to become the king after his father's sudden death in April 1483, but he went missing with his younger brother Richard that summer. The other CL and Sebastian meet Edward V as a ghost at Ludlow Castle, which was the place he received the news of his father's death. There has been much debate on what happened to the boys and whether Richard III had killed them or if they died of an illness. And there's lots of other theories discussing this. They are often referred to as the princes in the tower, and there has been a lot of literature written about them on the subject. William Shakespeare wrote the play Richard III that included the princes. George R.R. Martin, in The Clash of Kings, refers to the body of two young princes, Rickon and Bran, who were found hung and burnt. Philippa Gregory also has written a lot of fictional history on the subject and has written 5 books on the subject. Historical discussion has also been developing on this subject too. Horace Walpole in 1768 wrote Historic Doubts on the life and reign of Richard III, which first began discussion on the subject. The next time it was discussed was in 1906 by Sir Clemens Robert Markham. There has been more discussion recently on the subject, likely due to the revival in interest surrounding Richard III after his body was found under a car park. With all the discussion around the Princes of the Tower, it would be far more accurate for CL and Sebastian to see their ghosts in the Tower of London rather than at Ludlow Castle. Character number 32, Elizabeth Midford. She is originally the fiancée of the real CL and is now the fiancée of the other CL, and I think now she's actually back to being the fiancée of the real CL. Elizabeth initially comes off as a spoilt brat in the manga and anime, and is hyper-focused on trying to look cute around the other CL. As the manga progresses, she begins to get much more likeable and starts to show off her expert sword fighting skills. On the revelation that the other CL has been pretending to be his older brother, she is horrified that she couldn't tell them apart, and leaves with the real CL, who was a bizarre doll. A bizarre doll is a carnivorous being who preys on the souls of humans. They rely on a constant supply of blood to keep functioning, and so constantly need blood transfusions. It's a fun thing. We discussed it in the other CL's video. When she realises that the other CL had been pretending to be his older brother, she realizes that it was actually mostly because she actually preferred his older brother over him, and that she really wishes that the other CL had died instead of the real CL. The name Elizabeth is highly popular, staying at the number 2 spot throughout the 50 years. Hilary Nixon. She is one of the children kidnapped by Baron Kelvin's Noah's Ark circus. Sebastian saves her when she is used for this knife throwing practice, however she later dies when the manor is burnt down. The name originates from Old English, meaning older trees. It is not a particularly popular name and has only started to be used more frequently after the 1990s. Her surname Nixon means son of Nicholas and is of English, Scottish and Irish origin. Finian. He is one of the other CL's servants, working as a gardener. Prior to working for the Phantom High family, he was held captive as a test subject and kept indoors. He was also branded with the mark S-012 and frequently received of an unknown substance. These injections gave him super strength. His name is of Irish and Gaelic origin, meaning fair, and the name was very popular in the 2000s. It appears that most of these names are actually very historically accurate, which is a big difference from our previous video. I think I'm going to discuss the issues of Edward V in a later video when I get to Richard. So there's a lot of problems basically when it happens. Yeah, oh guy. Yeah, I did some research into it and I was like, oh god, this would never happen basically. On another note, I found it really interesting. The Midford name seems to actually be very historically accurate in comparison to the Phantom High family, which does not have an accurate name. So I don't understand why they can get the Midford family name right, but they can't get the Phantom High family name right. Because they're literally related. It doesn't make sense why they're not connected and why they're not both historically correct. Yeah. Anyway, have a nice day. Take care. Goodbye. See ya.